Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a milestone episode of oh my god, I can't even talk this morning, of Averwork Podcast with
I
your
thought that
boys.
was a milestone. You switched the name to Everett.
No, we're going back to our roots and me learning not how to speak. Welcome to episode 40 of Averwork Podcast with your boys, Respath, Peach, and Walt. Respath, how are you feeling today?
I'm amazing right now. I'm the best I've ever felt.
Wow, that's saying something.
Nah, I just woke up.
Wait a minute. You wanted to do this after you get home from work.
Yeah, well, I was off last night.
Oh, wow. So
I usually work on Saturday nights, all right?
Oh, man.
I'm trying to keep it consistent.
Peach, how are you feeling? Again,
fucking tired.
Oh, man. Milestone episode. Peachy's here, as usual. I feel like any episode you're with us, Peach, is a milestone. So, okay, there we go. I was hoping for a response or something like that, but nah. So we got a fun episode that's a couple weeks delayed just because of, mostly because of PAX. Our episode last week.
It's about a week.
About a week. The PAX stuff, I think, kind of took front and center headline, which I think was very reasonable. But Mike, I will let you kind of discuss this topic since this was your brainchild.
His name's Peach, all right?
Wait,
Peach. That was me.
Yeah.
I guess it is a couple weeks. I should say it's about a week since I heard about it. It's the rumored AEW, which stands for Peach.
All Extreme Wrestling.
Yeah, that's why we love you doing your research. All Elite Wrestling. It's the trademarks that
you got it. Let's be real. Peachy at 66% is higher than we can expect.
You did get All in Wrestling, so I'll give you that. So they filed for trademarks. Peach, do you know what any of those trademarks are that they filed?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, I'll run over them a little bit here. They filed.
I actually, for full disclosure, I don't know all of them.
Oh, really? Okay.
I know.
Well,
I know a few of them. I know a few of them. I'll call out the ones that I know and don't know.
Okay, well, it was reported, and I can only say all this stuff's been reported, because, to be honest with you, I don't know for sure. I wasn't there when they did it. This is all reported stuff. Now, trademarks were filed for a new promotion called All Elite Wrestling LLC, and for a number of phrases such as All Out, AEW, Double or Nothing. It says AEW Double or Nothing, Double or Nothing, AEW All Out, and Tuesday Night Dynamite. So,
okay, then I knew all of them.
Okay, well there you go.
I thought there were more.
And it has been reported.
Do you know who filed the trade or who?
Well, I'm going to kind of go over a little bit here because as I'm reading it, the potential promotion was initially reported to be a joint venture between Chris Jericho, Jim Ross, the Young Bucks, Cody Rhodes, and Tony Khan, who's the son of the Jacksonville owner. What's his name? Shad Khan or whatever. The guy who keeps trying to move that team to London.
He's trying to move him to London?
Well, that's why they consider
Is that why
like their
they
secondary
volunteer
home
all
field.
their games?
Yeah. I don't know if they're actually going to do it, but let's not make this about his father. All right. Although I think he's kind of a part owner too, because he's a son. Once he kills his dad, he gets the team or something like that.
Yeah, that's how it works.
The listed address for the LLC trademark is TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville, which is the Jaguars' home field. I do know that Jericho apparently has refuted that he is involved in this.
Yeah, Jim Ross, I think the same thing.
Yeah, which why the fuck wouldn't they? I mean, there's also rumors that WWE is kind of preparing themselves in case this becomes bigger than they would like.
I have a lot of comments on this.
But we're kind of going to get into this a little bit and say, you know, will there be a threat? And I don't even want to go as far as to say a threat to WWE, but will there be a threat to Impact Wrestling, ROH, and New Japan with them taking guys? Are they going to what's the best course of action for them to take to compete, and we'll kind of go from there and just say what we think about different, what's the best way to go about it. Try to get a TV contract right away.
Also,
whatever.
Yeah, feeding some fuel to this too is like might have been last week or 2 weeks ago. Cody Rhodes was in the Jaguars suite during Jaguars. Ew, excuse me.
God bless you.
Thank you. Sorry about that, folks. I tried to get away from the mic as fast as possible. Cody Rhodes was in the Jaguars suite during a Jaguars game. Him and Brandy, I think they took pictures there. I noted, I saw all the trademarks that you saw, Mike. All Out, Double or Nothing, and Tuesday Night Dynamite. And then the big rumor along with it is, other than like the trademarks and all that stuff, is that the Elite, which is Omega, the Bucks, Marty, Adam Page, and Cody, are all signing with this new AEW once their contracts run out, which is right around the end of the year, like January 1st. So, have you been watching any of Being the Elite?
No, I'm not. I know I said I was going to lead into this episode.
I can fill in some of the blanks there. Peach, do you watch any of Being the Elite?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I know you want to include them, but come on.
We try. We try. It's like, ugh. So it's a show that was basically created by, I think, just the Young Bucks and Omega, like maybe about 2 years ago or something like that, and it was like kind of like, I didn't watch the beginning ones. I forget when I really started watching. I watched when Adam Cole was on there, before he left.
Is this like a TV program or a computer thing? Or?
It's a YouTube show that they film while they're out, and it's a little bit of storyline stuff, and then a little bit of just kind of, you see the backstage of them traveling, of them doing autograph signings at the different shows, all that stuff. So it's actually really cool and really funny, but like all in was kind of like the culmination of Being the Elite. And essentially, All Elite Wrestling, what it seems like to me, is going to just be the wrestling program to the TV show Being the Elite, if that makes sense. All Elite Wrestling will fulfill the storylines that they are talking about in Being the Elite. So, like in All In, you saw the Adam Page, Joey Ryan storyline come to fruition there. You had Flip making the card, which was a Being the Elite storyline. What other storylines did you have? You had Marty Scurll versus Okada. Just kind of that light heavyweight discussion. But so that's what I think All Elite Wrestling is going to end up being, is just kind of the wrestling program for them to fill out this Being the Elite TV show. Is there anything else that we missed kind of from a fact standpoint, Mike? Like, obviously, this stuff isn't... I realized as I said facts, I put up quotes, but you cannot see quotes because this is a podcast. But, like, kind of the rumored stuff around it.
Well, none of this is going to be official until... at least not officially announced until January. So, this is all purely speculation, it really... I don't know that any of this could be necessarily official. The one thing I was referring to when I said about WWE... and again, take this with complete grain of salt, because not only is this speculated, it is also from a very reliable wrestling source's mouth, and Dave Meltzer. But he had referenced how WWE had been looking to extend people, purely because even though Vince might not see them as an actual threat, that as of late, stuff that's happened, like when they tried to block the ROH show at Madison Square Garden, at least again rumored that they tried to block it, and ROH still got Madison Square Garden. It's little things like that. They said that this is at least kind of on its radar a little bit, and that that's why he's kind of signed guys a little bit more that they didn't used to sign. You know, that there's guys that they've probably had on their radar that they're trying to sign because it's maybe put a little bit of fear that they might not be able to get them later if they continue to make more money in these other promotions. So again, I take it with a complete grain of salt, but that was one of the things they were saying. It's not like he thinks this is going to be an actual threat to them, but if guys feel like there's an alternative to go to that's going to pay them the same amount of money, that they won't have that kind of open talent pool the way they've had for a while.
I think so. I'm gonna kind of start on reaction stuff. I think this is a bigger threat to Ring of Honor and New Japan than WWE, and I think it's very fucked up. Like, I am not a fan of what this could possibly be. I'm not necessarily a fan of it if it's in my mind turning into what I think it's going to be, but I also think it's gonna fail all of these wrestling promotions. So here's my reasoning. Let me talk a little bit about my reasoning with it. So you have these guys all signed exclusively with All Elite Wrestling. That means they're not showing up on ROH, they're not showing up on New Japan, because there's a TV deal associated with this. That Tuesday Night Dynamite is supposed to be their weekly TV show.
Right, which was absolutely smart because SmackDown's leaving Tuesdays in 2019.
Yes. So these wrestlers are going to show up on this Tuesday Night Dynamite. With the way like exclusive promotions are and things like that, like I don't see Ring of Honor and New Japan extending contracts with this to kind of share talent. So what talent is All Elite Wrestling going to get? They're going to get the people that are either like low tier, like probably like the people that were at trying not to be a knock, but it is, like at House of Hardcore last night. Like, it's not not the guys that everybody wants to see. It's lower tier guys that you know their name. Like, David Arquette. David Arquette might be a big get for them. Well, I forget what his name is. Tyrus? Is that Brutus Clay's name now? Like, these, like, lower level guys that aren't really associated with a single promotion, they're going to be signing on to All Elite Wrestling to do stuff. But you're not going to get, like, the Ospreys, the Zack Sabre Juniors, I don't think. You're not going to get, like, these, like, mid-tier guys that are kind of exclusive with New Japan and Ring of Honor for TV stuff. And I think it's just going to hurt the All Elite promotion because it's going to burn out in, like, less than a year because it's going to be the same storylines over and over again. And then I think it's also going to burn out Ring of Honor and New Japan because you're not going to have the name draw as much. New Japan, I'm not as worried about, but Ring of Honor, I think, can take a severe hit from this. So, right. I think it's actually a bad thing that if this turns out the way I think it is, a bad thing kind of for the independent industry. But if it turns out completely wrong, I'd be happy with it. But
now I'm kind of under the impression, and I could be wrong about this, that this will not be run by Tony Khan. You know, it'll be funded by Tony Khan, but it'll not be run by him. Now, if this is being run by Cody and the Young Bucks and Omega, if the Elite, if they're running this, I'm going to be under the impression that they will not be signing exclusive deals with guys. I'm going to kind of play the other side here and say that All In was that stepping stone for this. They wanted to see how successful that could be. If they could bring guys from New Japan, Impact, bring guys from other places, and have people actually care about what was going on. And I think what they'll do is their TV program will not be as much to further storylines as they will probably use YouTube to. I could see them being bigger on YouTube, and I actually think that's what being the Elite has been to prove a little bit too, is hey, we can further things on YouTube with these guys. They don't all have to be here on Tuesday nights, or if they tape it or whatever, and they can further storylines that way and use those YouTube videos, you know, on Tuesday to kind of explain what happened. Because to be honest with you, that's what happened at All In.
Yeah,
I understood the storylines because they showed videos from Being the Elite.
I agree with that. And to your, like, I was thinking the All In comparison. The problem with that is All In was this one-time deal, or like if they talk like once or twice a year deal, to where these other companies are more comfortable with letting their wrestlers go to it to showcase them for once or twice a year on this relatively WrestleMania-esque type program of independent promotions.
Right.
But I don't think these other companies are going to be as favorable to let their guys go to TV if it's going to be for a weekly TV show.
Now, I don't expect them to be there every week. I expect them to be there once a month, maybe. And I expect them to talk about New Japan, about Impact, about ROH.
But here's the thing, they really didn't do it on All In.
Yeah, I know, but I expect them to reference it. I expect them to have their titles when they come out. I expect shit like that. I'm just saying, I'm playing the other side here.
Yeah,
and I'm going to say, I think they need that. They need that at first. I think AEW is going to need that at first.
I definitely think they need it, but the problem is I don't think, because here, like at All In, they didn't walk in with any of their titles. When we did our All In review, I'm pretty sure I said this there. This was one of my complaints about the show, is that I wish they would have allowed the talent to walk out with their titles. Like Omega didn't walk out with the IWGP. Tessa Blanchard didn't walk out with the Impact Women's title. Who else had titles there? I forget. I don't know if Cody was
they did bring out the NWA because
that
match was for it.
But that's not. But the NWA was. But that's the NWA title would be defended in All Elite Wrestling just because that's how the NWA. There's no real home base for NWA.
Yeah,
it's all the independent promotions.
But see, I'm under the impression that this stuff has been talked about already. From the sounds of it, this has been going on since before All In. This idea has been going on since before All In.
But if this was going to be, so if this was always the end goal, and if this was all talked about and discussed with, the assumption is they talked about it with these promotions, TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, saying, hey, All In's a starting point. Here's where we're going down the line. Because Ring of Honor, this is now a rival promotion to them.
Right.
This is a rival promotion, especially because they have a television show.
Yeah.
Do they have a network set up or a?
From the sounds of it, there's not a TV deal or a streaming service yet set for them. As far as is known.
We're going off of the name Tuesday Night Dynamite.
Yeah.
Is that there's going to be a TV...
which could very easily be a YouTube show.
It's still television. With the way... Listen, I watch more YouTube than I watch actual TV.
Yeah.
So, that, it is competition. I just have a hard time believing that you're going to get the quality that you would want from this if this truly is its own independent type setup and not one-off shows.
Now I'm gonna quickly interrupt you and say, is ROH, New Japan, Impact, are they ever going to be legit rivals for WWE?
No, but
never will, right? They never will. Hold on. They never will. I'm not saying this will be, but it has the potential to. I don't see them signing exclusive deals with guys. I just don't.
Ring of Honor, just to go to the rival thing.
Wouldn't ROH rather AEW sign a guy where they're saying, hey, look, our guy can still wrestle there. He just can't go to WWE. Our guy can still wrestle here. Isn't that better than WWE signing a guy from ROH and they're never going to see him again?
No, because it's actually if technically you could be better because if they go away for 1 or 2 years under the WWE banner, get tired of it and come back, you now have a WWE name. Like Cody. Look at the name Cody brought because he was a WWE guy.
Yeah, but was Cody on the independent scene, went there, and then came back?
No, but it just his name being a WWE guy. So he was just a straight WWE guy to where none of these fans had a real connection with him.
And guess what? If AEW becomes like ECW. Let's say ECW, because ECW, I think we'll agree, ECW was bigger than probably any of these promotions,
Yes.
right? Even if it becomes an ECW, or what Impact was aiming for when they brought everybody over 70 that used to wrestle before I was born in WWE, when they had Ric Flair and Hogan wrestle at 87 years old. They at least went for it. You know, they brought in Jeff Hardy. They at least went for it then. If AEW can become that that third promotion, maybe not second to WWE, but that third one, that one where you're like, it's got a big enough draw. Guess what? Now, when the guys go there and leave, there's two different places that are also building these guys' names.
So the one thing, when you pull the comparison to WWE, I stopped comparing anything to WWE anymore. Because the comparison to WWE is normal TV shows. Or football. There's no comparison from a wrestling standpoint. It just flat out, it depends on what you want. Like, sports entertainment is WWE, and that's on a tier that is so far above all these other companies that it's never going to touch it. The closest you get, the comparison for, like, Ring of Honor, New Japan, and stuff like that is NXT. Because that's the wrestling, because these are wrestling programs.
Right.
WWE is a sports entertainment program. So that's where it's like, its comparison has always been, at least in the last 5 to 10 years, your Monday Night Footballs, your UFC fights, your even, Game of Thrones. Stuff like that. That's your comparison. So I don't think AEW is going to try to compete with the WWE. NXT, that's another story. But as a promoter, definitely, I like the idea that you're saying of, sharing your talent pools, let them go anywhere and kind of build up the names, because then you can build up each other. But that's not how these guys are working. A lot of them are very exclusive, especially for the TV deals. They let them go, and you can wrestle in House of Hardcore, but that's not really on TV. It's barely on Twitch.
Right.
And, but you don't even see the big guys there, even from Impact. Like, Johnny Impact isn't there. Austin Aries isn't there. I don't know if he's still with them or anything like that, but he's not there. But he was there at one point. But, I don't know exactly how it works. And, I just don't see these companies sharing the talent in the appropriate way for all of them to be a success. Because look, if you're the Khan family, and you just backed all of this money into AEW, are you going to want to see Kenny Omega on other promotions holding their title?
But that's my point.
Because they're not going to, because you got to think let's say Omega's on New Japan. New Japan's not going to promote AEW. Hell, WWE tried to do it with The Rock when they gave Rock the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 29. The thought was he was doing the promotion for, I think it was one of the Fast and Furious movies. The thought was that he would carry that title out on all the talk shows and all that stuff, and it was right around the same time, and they'd be asking him, "Oh, WrestleMania," and nobody brought up shit about it. He barely carried the title, and it was to me, a loss for what WWE wanted. Put that down to a much smaller scale, it's not going to happen.
Now, see, my point was that, and you're saying New Japan won't promote AEW, and I'm perfectly fine with agreeing in that. But my point kind of to all this and calling it ECW is it gives an alternative for the casual fan, not for the hardcore. A hardcore fan, and you, if I told you right now, watch Monday Night Raw or any New Japan ROH show. If I just told you right now, go watch any of them, what are you more likely to watch?
Depends on the card, but either...
All right, Wrestle Kingdom or fucking Backlash.
Oh, come on. That's not even fair.
Okay, I'm just saying. Peach, what are you more likely to watch? And I'm talking about you as more of a casual fan, and not if I sat there and sent you the feed to get to Wrestle Kingdom. If I told you watch Backlash or Wrestle Kingdom, which one are you more likely to watch?
Wrestle Kingdom, but that's just because I know.
If Walton did not send you a feed to Wrestle Kingdom and I told you had to figure out how to watch one of these shows.
I'm sure I could Google it.
Okay. You're not.
But
I'm talking more
yeah,
than a casual fan. They're going to go to Backlash. They just are. Because that's what they know. WWE is what they know. A casual fan, a casual wrestling fan knows WWE. And regardless of the garbage that's getting put out there, they're going to watch it. Right? This, if it gets a big enough TV deal, and I don't know that they're going to. I really don't know that they're going to. I don't think they're going to. But if they do, let's say they work some strings and they're able to actually get a relatively big enough TV deal where you can sit there and watch something on a channel that you don't have to search for 17 hours to try to find it in channel 876, and it actually came on at 1 o'clock in the morning. If you had something that you could actually watch on Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock, a casual fan might be more likely to watch it on fucking UPN. I don't even know if that's still a channel. But, like,
WPN,
if they could,
I think, is the new UPN.
TBS. Something, I don't know. If they can watch it on an actual channel that you can get to that's within 1 to fucking 37, I don't know, somewhere in that first couple channels, where you can actually just turn it on and watch it, and you don't have to fucking Google where this channel is for DirecTV as opposed to Xfinity as opposed to Verizon. They can at least pull the casual fan. And guess what? New Japan don't need to promote AEW. They don't. Because AEW will promote the fuck out of those guys being from New Japan and all those other places, and that's how you pull those fans. New Japan will follow Kenny Omega. New Japan fans will follow Kenny Omega.
Yes,
they will follow him if they will follow him to any promotion.
You just said I want to just call out the difference of what you said there. You said New Japan will follow Kenny Omega, and then you corrected yourself and said the fans.
Yeah,
and that's my issue. The fans are going to follow Omega, so that means, look at it this way. Fans are leaving New Japan to follow Omega to AEW. So now, instead of the building up of New Japan to be a monster house of combination of both those fans, you lost half the Kenny Omega fans over to AEW that are watching New Japan now because he's not on New Japan.
No, but my point was he's still being shared. That AEW does not need the promotion from New Japan. They just don't. And if New Japan can get a little bit of promotion from AEW, that's getting a whole new fan base. That's getting people that didn't know about New Japan. We know about New Japan. Casual fans do not. And if you can get them on an actual TV network, and I'm playing the fact that they get them on an actual TV network, that they're casual
fans know more about New Japan than I think you give them credit for.
I'm talking about casual fans
Nope.
I'm not, if Peachy was not doing this podcast, and if you did not talk to him about New Japan all the time, if he did not have a hardcore wrestling fan as a friend, and Peach, correct me if I'm wrong, if you did not have a hardcore fan like Walton as a friend, would you know anything about New Japan?
No. And, I've never seen anything from New Japan.
And Peachy's the type of casual fan I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the person who would go to WrestleMania if two of his friends were not going.
Okay, so here's my complete opposite argument to that. I'm sitting at work one day. This was a while ago. I forget when the hell it was. My boss comes in the office, and he goes, "Yo, what's this New Japan wrestling thing?" And I'm like, "Where the hell did you hear that from?" And he's like, "I was watching this music channel, they had some live concerts, and this New Japan wrestling thing came up, and I kept watching it for a little bit just because you're a fan. I was just like, let me see what this is, and I forget what match they were talking about. It might have been Omega Okada 4. It might have been around that time. But he does not watch wrestling whatsoever. The last thing he knew about wrestling was Jimmy Superfly Snuka jumping off the steel cage.
Okay.
So
did you just say he wanted? He asked you about it, right?
He knew about it because he was watching Access for music, which is something he liked. That's
Okay.
why I'm saying more casual fans are more likely to know about New Japan than they will about AEW, again, depending on where it all lands.
Well,
He's never mentioned to me anything.
I have to admit, I was preparing what I was going to say next, and then you said something there. Did you tell him about Omega Okada 4? Or
No.
did he ask about the match you were talking about?
No, he didn't. He told me the players. He told me the time
he was
that
watching that match.
He was watching that match, and
Okay.
he said it was something like Omega or something like that. And I said, was it this? And I then started to fill in the blank for him. He didn't
Right.
know about it. He didn't
Okay.
go and watch it. He was literally watching, I think, like a Tom Petty concert that they had on there.
All right, I'm going to give you another example then. I work overnight, right? That's when
Okay.
New Japan shit
Except
plays.
last night when we,
Yeah.
when the reason why we moved to Sunday mornings.
Okay.
I could be asleep right now.
No, you couldn't. But I work with people who used to tell me all the time, because I would tell they knew I watch wrestling. They would say, we watch this funny ass shit at night. It's all in Japanese. It's hilarious. That's how they viewed New Japan Wrestling. They said it's hilarious. I don't know. And I
But
said
they
New
know
Japan.
about it.
I said
They
New
know-
Japan, and they said we have no clue. No clue what it's called. We just put it on. It's in Japanese. It's fucking hilarious. They watch it because we work overnight and our options are cartoons, infomercials, or things in other languages. So they put it on as a joke. Now, these guys know who wrestlers are. They've watched wrestling. I won't say they watch wrestling hardcore, but they at least have heard of John Cena. The last time they watched was not Jimmy Snuka. And they thought it was on as a joke. They thought it was meant to be funny. Like, what's that one show where it's the
Maximum Extreme Challenge.
yeah, those things. That's what they thought it was.
Yeah.
They thought it was meant to be a joke. They thought it was meant to be funny. Now, this is people who have watched wrestling since Jimmy Snuka, who do know some of the recent guys. They know who CM Punk was. They knew who Daniel Bryan was. They knew those guys. And yet they thought it was meant to be a joke. So you could say it on your end. They didn't come to me and say, hey, who are these guys wrestling? They put it on to have to laugh at 3 o'clock in the morning while working overnight for background noise while we're doing work. That's what they had it on. And I realize as viewers, but is that really the viewers New Japan wants, is people thinking it's meant to be a joke? Because that's what they thought.
But again, they're still they still know about it.
No, they had no clue what it was called. They said it was
But
Japanese wrestling.
That they know about it. Notice, like in both of our stories, we never brought up Ring of Honor. Nobody knows what Ring of Honor is. Really.
Okay, but my point was, if you get a casual fan to watch, to be interested, they were not interested in it. They thought it was a joke.
Sure, they are. They are interested in it. It's for the wrong reasons.
Do you think?
Do you
think that's the type of interest they want?
Again, they're interested in it. So
how
you know
often
what?
has your boss watched New Japan since he asked you about that match?
I don't know. He asked me not to talk about wrestling in the office because I'm a nerd.
I want you to go ask him if he's
No.
ever watched another New Japan thing since that
I don't think
conversation.
he has. But he was watching it kind of again. as
And that's my
background noise.
point.
But here's the
That's
thing,
my
though.
point. Just because he heard of it and he doesn't want to watch it, is
he knows
New
it's on-
Japan
but
better
here's
than
the thing, Mike.
WWE? Is the wrestling matches New Japan puts on, for the most part, better than WWE? From you, as a hardcore fan of wrestling, do you believe that they put on better matches? And I'm not talking NXT, I'm talking about WWE. I'm talking about Raw and SmackDown, the matches that they actually put on. I'm not talking about style of wrestling. I'm talking about style of wrestling, their matches. I'm not talking about the wrestlers on the programs. I'm talking about the matches in themselves.
So WWE and New Japan are two different animals and two different, completely different things. Yes, New Japan puts on better matches than WWE. Breaking news, everyone. Let's put this in the description of the podcast.
But a person who's never heard of New Japan, a casual fan that may have never heard of New Japan, that thought it was a joke at 4 o'clock in the morning,
But
is
here's the
not
thing,
thinking those wrestling matches were better.
But here's the thing with the joke that you're saying, that they're more likely now to watch that.
No, they couldn't find the channel again. I had to help them through it. They said they seen it like 5 months ago.
So, but if you look at it like that, like they put it on as a joke, that means they're aware of it, they know it exists, and
They passed it. They passed it while looking for any channel not showing infomercials or Golden Girls at 2 o'clock in the morning.
My initial point is that my initial point with this was saying that New Japan has more casuals know about New Japan than we give them credit for. Here's the thing, though. The two stories that we just told was about New Japan, right? Again, we didn't discuss Ring of Honor. No casuals don't know that Ring of Honor exists, really.
Right.
So New Japan has that going for it, at least. Right? Like, even, let's put aside whatever we feel about that, but our two casual that are not peachy watch New Japan.
Okay.
Right?
Well, yeah, and let's say this. New Japan is a different style, right, of how they do their shows, how they do everything, right? New Japan, I don't know how often they put on shows, but they don't put on shows at a weekly basis, right?
Not, I don't know. I don't know not televised, at least in the States. I don't know. They put on, they run shows like they just finished the World Tag League.
Right.
Like, they do things like that to where the World Tag League is grueling.
Now,
which the World Tag League, just as a side note, set up some good matches for Wrestle Kingdom.
All right.
You're getting Ibushi versus Ospreay for the Never Open. And then, which actually, I was reading this morning before we got on, the Young Bucks are getting shit on because they just inserted, you're getting GOD versus Sonata and Evil for the heavyweight titles. Yeah, the heavyweight tag team titles. The Young Bucks, who were not on the World Tag League at all, just come out and inserted them and made it a triple threat match. I think it's going to be a good match. Like, the three of them, I think it's going to be fun. But they are getting shit on because they did not work the entire World Tag League schedule, which is very similar to the G1 and the Super Juniors, to where it's a bunch of matches over a short amount of time, and now Young Bucks are in one of the events at Wrestle Kingdom, so kind of funny. But
okay, correct me if I'm wrong, though. New Japan, their schedule is not on the level of WWE, probably not even ROH, right? Like they're not a weekly recording, a thing where they could their guys can kind of come and go in that sense, where they're wrestling for this amount of time and then there's a kind of a break, right?
It depends. It depends on the time of the year. It's not as
it depends on the time of year. From the whole year as a whole. They're not working consistently week in and week out for 12 months, right?
I do not believe so.
I'm pretty sure they don't. I don't know either. I'm kind of asking you and kind of using this to lead into a point a little bit. So New Japan could technically share guys with other places, kind of like they do.
All of these. So I'm not disputing the fact that all these guys could share guys.
Right.
I'm not disputing that. I think overall, for the independent scene to kind of really flourish, I think they need to. I think there needs to be a kind of more open communication path and exchange path for these guys to share and jump around and be able to kind of talk to each other, but then also work together to make sure that they don't compete with each other, which is hard, but is something that they have to work on. I don't disagree with that. My only thought is they are not going to do it.
And I don't think they're going to either.
Because what happens if AEW
I think the way it'll start out will start out that way. But to be honest with you, is this going to last forever where the independent scene is just going to keep rising and rising and rising, and they're all just going to help each other, and they're just going to get to, they're just going to continue to get bigger and bigger, and wrestling's going to get bigger as a whole? No, it's not. It's not what's going to happen. Eventually, one of them's going to get too big for their own good, and they're going to try to take the other two out anyway. And it's not going to happen with any of the three of them. What's happening now is what was going to happen anyway. If ROH could take out New Japan and Impact, they would have. They're not sitting here thinking this is great for the independent wrestling scene. If they think they could have gotten a TV deal and basically slit the throats of both of those companies and took all their top guys and paid them huge money, they would have. Impact has tried it. New Japan, to be honest with you, a lot of their fans are not necessarily from America. They don't know a lot of the guys that would be coming over there anyway. So they don't need to do that. New Japan will survive without the Young Bucks. They'll survive without Kenny Omega. They might not get the fans from the U.S., but they'll survive regardless.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They this whole firestorm, they will still survive. ROH and Impact have tried to do stuff like this. They're not sitting there thinking.
Has?
What? You're gonna tell me ROH has never tried to get a TV deal? Because I remember rumors.
They have. I'm sorry. I thought you were referencing bringing like.
If they got an actual real TV deal, you're gonna tell me that they wouldn't have had to bring in bigger name guys. That they wouldn't have had to do this eventually, right? They would have had to.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, Young Bucks is not going to just make an appearance here or there. They want them there full time, right? At ROH. That's what I'm saying. They would have had to eventually doing it. The problem with this is that AEW is just doing it from the outset. They're just going to bring everybody from the outset. But guess what? ROH has already been alive too long. Like, they're not just going to make that jump randomly. People know about them, and they already have their thought of them. The same thing with Impact. Impact had that chance. They had that chance, and they failed miserably at it. Now you got a new thing that's the new cool hip thing. You know, all the kids are talking about it.
Yeah.
With the elite.
All the kids in my circle are talking about it.
And you know, they're trying to branch off all in. I think in a sense this is going to be better for the wrestling business than the independent scenes working together. As a whole, I think it's going to be better for wrestling business. I think it's going to put guys
WWE
out there.
WWE needs to have competition. Needs to have something.
This is not competition for WWE.
And I don't believe so, but it has the potential to build there over a course
light
of
a fire under their
years. And I'm not talking about WWE as a global power wall. Don't get this twisted. I'm talking about nightly
WWE as a wrestling product.
as a weekly program against WWE as a pay-per-view option. Backlash or whatever the fuck their secondary pay-per-view is. I'm talking about that type of competition. There's a live show of AEW the same night as WWE. Where are we gonna go? I'm talking about that kind of thought, where they could build to at least be an ECW type threat, where it's a little minor one. It's like a flick off the finger, but it's an alternative as far as weekly programming goes. But that right there is going to make those guys more known to the casual fan, which will then make me want to go to an ROH show as a casual fan, because I watched this guy on Tuesday nights at AEW, and he was there, and he was their champion, and now he's with ROH. Now it's a secondary thing where it's not just WWE, because WWE is just going to continue to add places. Fucking, you're going to have NXT France, NXT China. You're just going to have all these places that are going to bring in any of those local guys. That's why a lot of people, apparently they hate the fact that they signed all those guys in the UK. Because those guys aren't allowed to wrestle out, and some of those guys, they're not allowed to move around. Apparently, and I don't know if this was a rumor or not, who's that like 7-foot guy
Wolfgang?
on Independence?
No. What, Moose?
No.
Big Cass.
No, he wasn't with WWE. He wrestled like one of their NXT shows, though, I think. What the fuck's his name? He's like Big Show, like size, body. Damn, what the hell's his name? Maybe he's not 7 foot, but he's really
not Dijak.
No, he's never been with NXT or WWE. He wrestled one.
You
show.
said he wrestled one of those NXT shows.
He wrestled like a live show, I think, once. I don't know if it was like a tryout match for him. He's really fucking. He's really big. He's on the independent. He's not big name wise, but he's really big.
Like fat?
No,
not
tall. I said like Big Show. Like he's fucking like, but he's like wide. Either way, he's got to wrestle a match where he's involved with a female, and apparently he has a contract. Like he's basically set to come over to WWE, and they've like apparently already told him if he lays a finger on her in that match, that like they won't sign him or something like that. And I can't remember. Oh my god! Again, it could have been a rumor, and I don't. If I remembered his name, I'd look to see if it was even just a false report or not.
Because I can't even think of really big guys like that in the independent scene right now.
Oh my god, this is going to bother me.
Yeah,
all right, I'm looking this up. You talk, Walt.
I can't. I forget what we were talking about now. You were talking about the contract stuff with like the UK. Like but this is a perfect example. WWE's not letting these guys out, and like on to other things. So why would these other independent promotions let it ultimately happen? Because look at it this way. You have a Ring of Honor guy versus an Impact guy, and they're doing it at AEW. Here's a comparison that Peach you would probably even understand too. Baseball All-Star Game. So baseball All-Star Game, pitchers specifically, and even the players. The managers don't want their players for the various teams playing in that game. Because there's always the chance of injury. They're going to get hurt. They don't want them to continue. So, like, pitchers only pitch, like, 1 inning or something for that All-Star game. And then they're pulled. They're out of there. Because they want them to look good and be good after the fact. For these other promotions and things like that, you have a Ring of Honor guy and an Impact guy. Who wins that match? Ring of Honor says they want the Ring of Honor guy to win. Impact says they want the Impact guy to win. AEW says, okay, we're going to let the Ring of Honor guy win. So why is Impact then going to let their guy get shit on to Ring of Honor for this match? Right? It's a valid point. That's why WWE never lets their guys kind of wrestle elsewhere. Because you can never have the WWE guy lose. The WWE guy will never lose to some other independent guy or anything like that. Hell, look at what they're doing in Evolve. Evolve is now like the minor leagues of NXT. It's all run by NXT guys as their champions. Street Profits are tag team champions. Oh God, Mike, do you know who their champion is? Evolve. He's a NXT guy.
Isn't the guy that wasn't like usually on TV?
Yeah, that's what.
But don't you think like AEW could have the draw of, hey, we're not going to keep you exclusive. You know, your merch is your merch.
But the problem is then the exclusive, like the contracts with the other companies, is that it's going to hurt, I think, the industry as a whole more so than Fabian. Fabian Archer is the Evolve champion.
Well, I'm tired looking for this guy's name.
Okay.
But somebody's listening to this that actually knows who he is, and they're screaming at me
comment.
and us right now. Yeah, I'll probably find this out right after we're done. But either way,
you're good at Peach.
I agree with Peachy in a sense. I agree with Peachy right here in a sense.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I know. I'm tired. I agree with them in the sense that, it's not WWE. I think they'll like the fact that they're leaving the freedom. I do. And your whole point on Impact wants this guy to win, New Japan wants this guy to win, I don't know that that's going to be an issue. I don't know that New Japan and Impact really, or ROH and Impact really care that much, especially if it's good wrestling match. They care more about their wrestling matches, right? Isn't that the whole thing? That they're supposed to care more about wrestling and independent scene, that a good wrestling match beats the hell out of a who beats who, right?
Yeah, isn't
that the whole appeal of these shows, right? From an independent wrestling
from us
standpoint.
or from the promoter standpoint?
I think from both.
Promoter still wants their guy to look strong.
But
you can look strong and lose, right?
Right. Do promoters still do not exactly 50-50, but like win-lose, like they don't want one guy to just be completely undefeated.
That's WWE.
Right, but no, everybody else kind of will go with this guy wins all the time.
They go with the storyline. They go with what fits what.
Exactly.
Where WWE it's 50-50 booking.
But then you're counting on Peach. I get what you're saying. So if Impact guy versus Ring of Honor guy, Impact guy wins the first match, Ring of Honor guy can win the second match, right?
Right.
So you're now counting on a third party to follow through with that promise in an industry that is known for backstabbing. That's the problem, is that...
How many of these guys have exclusive contracts?
Well, a good amount of them. All of the elite guys.
Don't they wrestle across all of them?
Yes. I'm pretty sure they all have exclusive contracts with... now, their exclusive contract, they have... Because Ring of Honor and New Japan work very closely together.
Right.
They can go back and forth on their TV shows.
Now, you're going to tell me guys that have relatively good relationships, right, with these two, are going to go make a new promotion, literally fuck them over, not talk to them about it at all. Literally do it without their knowledge at all, and then they're not going to be like, all right, we'll give you our champion. We want you to wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom. And they're going to say, whoa, 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 whoa. Why is our guy losing a 5-star match? Why is our guy losing that one match against ROH's guy? And all they have to say is, we're wrestling Wrestle Kingdom. Shut the fuck up. Like, I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. It's going to be, look, we'll continue to make appearances here. You give us your guy. It's not like they're asking for, hey, give me.
But now we're looking at like TV deals. Like, so there's these exclusive contracts. So the exclusive contracts for the Young Bucks, they can only show up on TV on Ring of Honor, but they're still able to do all these kind of independent things to where that's not on TV.
Right.
But
when they're the guys writing the contracts, when they're the guys that have the business, you think the Young Bucks are going to tell Cody Rhodes, hey, you can't go wrestle in New Japan?
But even like them guys are
but is New Japan going to sign Cody Rhodes then? Like, is it going to be worth it then for Cody Rhodes to go to New Japan? Think about that now.
Why wouldn't he could wear an AEW shirt? He can mention AEW there. He's one of the guys running it. Why wouldn't he want to, at that point, go somewhere else and promote them?
But New Japan might not want it.
Well, they'll say, then you're not going to get me.
Then New Japan will just be like, okay.
All right. But
yeah, then they're out. Like, so that's the thing. Like,
I don't think they're going to be so stingy about it. Well, I don't.
I still think there's going to be problems with the network. The network boss is saying, nah, we want this. Nah, we want this. Like, it doesn't matter who they go to, where they go. They're going to have a boss that says, well, we want, this to happen instead of...
I think they'll find a network that'll be like, oh, wait, New Japan is on Access at 3 a.m.? Sure. Go ahead.
So, New Japan, actually, and it's even funny, I just realized this as Peachy's saying the network stuff. Technically, Ring of Honor has a network. Because they're owned by Sinclair. So they have like certain TVs and things like that, and I can see the network thing playing a lot into it more too. To where, as a network guy that doesn't know wrestling, okay, that does not understand how wrestling works or anything like that, understands 5-star matches or, it's just about the match and not the person losing. The network guy in Sinclair gets something across his desk that says, so-and-so, Jay Lethal is going to go to this AEW on TV and lose the match. Nah. Again, yes, you're right. Young Bucks and all of them are talking to Ring of Honor and New Japan. I definitely agree with that. I just think it's going to be hard, especially in the long term. I'm not talking short term. My whole thing is long term.
And I'm purely talking short term.
Okay, I'm going long term for the longevity and of this.
Oh, there's no fucking way this works out in the long term. No way.
Yeah,
no way. And I agree with that. In the long term, this will not work.
I wish we then would have just had that conversation because this would have been a 10-minute podcast.
I've said it a bunch of times. I've said that over time, this will not work.
Christ, we've been going for almost an hour.
Over time, this will not work out. But they don't need it to. AEW needs to lull these companies to sleep. Like, don't worry about it. And then they could slit their throats. Because to be honest with you, I personally do not care. I want to see somebody at least get bigger than what TNA got. I would love to see a secondary real option on a weekly basis for me to watch. And I'd rather them have guys that I've heard of than guys that used to wrestle in WWE. If they do it the correct way, which TNA did not, TNA brought in all these guys, all these Chris Masters and Brodus Clay, the guys that didn't make it last in WWE, and said, hey, look, we can make them a star.
Yeah, it's because TNA basically was run by a wrestling fan.
Yeah. And so will the AEW will be funded by a wrestling fan, and I hope that they allow these guys to say, look what happened in All In. We brought guys that were not necessarily former WWE guys, and people watched. They came out in droves. These guys can be stars. Let's bring them in to become them. And it sucks for ROH. It sucks for the independent scene.
I definitely think
in the long term.
But
I'd rather see one. I'd rather see one company with a weekly storyline with these guys in it. I just would. And maybe that's and again, I think that's the casual fan of me wanting that. I already don't watch WWE. I don't. I know we do a lot of shit with them. I read it. I read the results. I watch NXT. 205 Live, I still have not gotten around to. I watched the first couple UK NXTs. And I watched the big pay-per-views. It's too much to me. I know there are people out there that watch them all, and you're a better person than me, I guess, because I just can't do it. I can't sit there and subject myself to that stuff week in and week out for 3 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Tuesday.
Hours.
Yeah, I don't have enough. I don't have enough willpower to sit there and watch it and just let them do it to me. So I'm cheering for AEW to become a better version of wrestling week in and week out. And if it means taking the top guys from ROH and New Japan and Impact and taking the better wrestlers and making a good product out of it and pissing those companies off, so be it.
So just as a side note, I'm still trying to figure out who you were thinking about, Mike. And I just typed in Google intergender wrestling tall guy. I don't wish I did that because I feel like it's messing up my search history. I feel like if that syncs at work or something, I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble. So I don't know. I think it's gonna hurt. Here's the thing. I like what they did with All In. I thought was good. I think that is a good WrestleMania-ish type event that should be used to celebrate all of independent wrestling. A third-party company that has ties with all these what?
You're
What's
saying
that
all of independent wrestling. It's 3 different fucking independent wrestlings. It's not like the
what do you mean?
Fucking territories. That doesn't celebrate all independent wrestling. It celebrates 3 fucking of the bigger independents.
But it celebrated other guys too. Joey Janela was there. He's not signed with anybody. He's a newcomer. Your first Matt Cross versus ECF. Is that his name? I forget what EJF. What the hell was that first match? But those are guys that really aren't signed with anybody that you see at House of Hardcore shows that they tried to incorporate. Yes, for this first All In, you had to have bigger names from those big 3 promotions to kind of set yourself up right as a first step. Now, going forward, they can open the door more to have these junior guys come in and help build them up as well as one-off TV deals that let everybody kind of communicate because it is bringing kind of everyone a little bit closer together. My only thing is, as a weekly television show, I don't think it's going to work out because I don't think your companies are going to buy in as much as they would with a single event once or twice a year.
Does AEW get rid of the All In event?
No.
Does AEW become in charge of are they going to be the promoters for the All In event?
Yeah, yes, I don't get...
like, all right, so All In's all the independent thing, like,
Well, All In's run by Cody and the Young Bucks.
who are AEW.
Essentially, yes.
All right, so like they're creating their thing and not like trying to combine shit. They're trying to be less indie. They're trying to become
Are you?
something.
Hold on. Are you as confused as I am?
Peach. They are trying to make their own organization and in hopes that it becomes bigger than independent wrestling. Yes.
That's what I was saying. Do you think like if they can become bigger, like does it get rid of the All In event? Get rid of them celebrating independent wrestlers?
They'll keep the name. They'll try to run it. For the first year or two, they probably will run it with ROH and Impact and New Japan probably still involved. And then the more they fuck these organizations over by stealing their guys and not letting them wrestle there anymore, it'll become more an AEW kind of WrestleMania type event and less about all the independents together. I believe that anyway.
Right. You know, what is it? Die a hero or live long enough to become a bad guy?
Yes. And I don't know how Walton couldn't understand that. I think it's because he's sleeping.
I am. I'm sleeping.
But
I was just getting confused on the wording. Like, yeah, All In's going to become like one night stand. WWE's one night stand.
I think it's going to become their WrestleMania.
No, well, it's going to become one night stand in the way one night stand evolved. It originally was an ECW reunion show, and then it became a one night stand of hardcore only matches. Now it's become Extreme Rules to where, yeah, Big Show stepped through a table. It started out as one thing, and that was like the history of it, but now it's turned into completely something different.
I did kind of want to go back on something we were talking about there, Walt, about casual fans real quick, right?
Yeah.
Now, you said your boss, right, seen it, and it was asking questions on it, right?
Correct.
Now, if it was like this Kenny Omega
because
guy
he
was
knows
real good.
because he knows I am a
right
31-year-old wrestling fan that lives at home with mom.
Now, if he said this Kenny Omega guy's real good, right? Would you think he would rather A, Kenny Omega wrestle in WWE so he can watch him wrestle, or stay in New Japan and start watching New Japan wrestling? And realistic, not your opinion, in a casual fan like his opinion. If he was really interested in Okada and Omega, would he rather them go to WWE or stay where they're at and he starts watching a whole new Japanese programming?
I'm trying to phrase it away a casual.
There's
fan
only
would say.
one real answer for this. Peach, if I told you all your favorite wrestlers from New Japan and all these other places could go to WWE and you could watch them easier.
Well, the answer is
I wouldn't have to watch it at 4 a.m. on fucking PBS or whatever.
It's literally on at 8 o'clock on Friday nights. Like, it's not on
Who the
at
fuck
like
watches anything at 8 o'clock on Friday nights?
me.
Yeah, I'm at work.
What? From the text message I get and stuff like that, Pete, you're really wasting my tax dollars. You could watch it.
I'm sleeping on Friday nights.
I might ask you to watch it so that you can provide some content and use my tax dollars appropriately. Jesus Christ. Yes. The question is yes. The answer, of course, is they should go to WWE so that he can watch them there.
Right.
But to me, it's the same. It's like I don't know. It's the answer's always,
my only point was if AEW, let's say they get some type of deal, and I don't know the channel. I just don't. I'm trying to think of a channel that would make sense for them. But let's say they get a
UPN.
Yeah, let's say they get
well, so it could be legitimately WGN because it's the I don't know what channel it is. It's a antenna over the air channel.
Yeah.
But I think it is at least. I'm not even sure. But that was the channel that they broadcast the All In 0 Hour on. And that did really well for them. I think I was just reading in prep for this. It got like 100, like almost 200,000 views, which is for a...
Yeah, they need a network that realizes they're not going to be WWE. I think that's the problem Impact has. Impact sells themselves that they're going to be at WWE's level.
They're slowly getting away from that, which is good.
Yeah.
But they still drift into it a little bit.
But that's how they had the issue with their network when they're going out there paying big bucks for all these guys, because they're telling them, hey, we're going to be competitors with them. We're going to give you the same viewership they get. And it's not going to happen. They need a network that's understanding that, hey, we're going to be one of your highest viewed shows. Your network does not get that many views. We're going to be one of your highest viewed shows. Don't think that we're going to give you what WWE gives on a weekly basis, but just be happy with what we're giving you, and we'll grow. We'll grow. You back us, we'll grow.
And I think
they need that, but they need a channel that's accessible.
They need another Mark Cuban. All seriousness, because Mark Cuban did that exact same thing, I think, with New Japan. He kind of saw it and was like, you guys are your own thing. I'll give you your platform. You do what you have to do. We'll promote you in that way.
Right.
And they promote him as, I think, I don't know if it's like the best wrestling on the planet or something like that, but they promote him that way. They don't promote him like a WWE. That's why New Japan is relatively successful on Access. Right. Yes, it's a difficult channel to find, and that's what's kind of shitty about it. To where the only good thing for casual fans to watch is Access has a lot of like concerts and stuff. It's honestly the best. Is like great background noise for a party, because it's like you put a Tom Petty concert on, or like they put like Beatles concerts and Queen stuff and Rush shows. Like I've watched some of those on their on demand section,
right? And
it's cool, but it's so hidden in the channel guide. Most people might not even get it. But that's how they would stumble upon it, is like, oh, let me watch, they're doing Rush Live or something like that. We can watch that. And then you get the things for New Japan in there. Access is doing it the right way. It just needs to be on a bigger scale.
Right.
So.
And that's we've seen problems with this in the past. What was that MTV wrestling thing?
Oh my god! What? Wrestling Society X.
Yeah.
Did you ever look at the roster for that?
We watched it at Vico's house. I remember watching it before.
Well, go do a search now, and stop shuffling. Oh, I am.
Every day he's shuffling.
I'm shuffling my deck of cards when I get antsy.
I do remember.
Read, go through and do
I remember
a
Sean
wiki
Waltman
search.
was in it. I remember Vampiro was in it.
Tyler Black was in it at some point.
All right,
like now that we
six Pac. I'll just go down some of the names here. You know what? They're not telling me. I'm going to assume that these guys. I don't know. See, I don't know if these are the names they use there. Tyler Black, Vampiro, Teddy Hart,
Jimmy Jacobs, Joey Ryan was there,
Sky,
just incredible.
New Jack, Moose,
Matt Cross, Matt Sydal. Like I never realized this until like now.
Well, that's because back then most of these guys were not.
Yeah.
At the level they were. I do remember Six Pac was in it. I remember Vampiro.
I also remember.
I believe
guys.
I remember Teddy Hart because I think they mentioned the Hart connection and stuff. But yeah, I remember watching that and like being like so excited for it, and then
it was so cool. It was I miss it. Like it's, and I think it like the fan base like has a love for this, for Wrestling Society X as well.
Yeah.
Just because people talk about it. Like people still talk about it to this day. And it was I remember I was going through it a while ago, and oh man, of course on the unaired episode the musical guest was Newfound Glory. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that there was 10 episodes, but you know what? And it says it right here in the description of it that they really only aired the first 4. And then they did a marathon of the 5 through 9 episodes. Because 4, and I believe I remember this, I think I actually watched this live. Oh, clips. They actually, you know what, it's MTV. Surprisingly, there's some pretty big named, and at the time they were bigger.
I will say there is a WWE staple that was part of Wrestling Society X.
Is that Black Label Society?
No.
Yeah.
Go to episode 8.
Oh, yeah.
The WWE staple was part of it.
Black Label Society sounds like one of those bands that does things for NXT once every couple months.
Nah, Black Label Society is I forget what his name, the guitarist of it. He's a famous guitarist.
Okay, yeah, I remember Vampiro against Six-Pac. I do remember
Zach
that
Wild.
championship match.
I remember that match too, yeah.
I remember the Rumble in the first one, but the fourth one was Ricky Banderas threw a fireball at Vampiro, and I remember seeing that live.
Oh, okay, I remember that.
And that's what took them off the air. That was the last live episode, and then they did a marathon, it says, of the 5 through 9. And then 10, yeah, it does figure. You got Good Charlotte, you got Newfound Glory, Pitbull, 3-6 Mafia, Clips. At the time, those were huge names, you know.
Quiet Drive, I think I used to listen to. After this episode of us recording, I'm going to pull up some Quiet Drive because I think I used to listen to them.
And I think those ratings are not awful. They expected more out of it. I guarantee you they expected more than a 1.0
so for Wrestling
rating.
Society X, it came out in 07.
Yeah.
So it came out in 07?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I didn't realize we were that old when it came out.
We were at Fico's house in Jersey. I did know that.
Okay.
He was living in Jersey at the time we watched it.
I didn't realize we were that old when we were watching it.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, that makes sense, I guess, with all the guys there. But yeah. Let's hope it doesn't turn into a Wrestling Society X.
I'm going to actually watch these episodes if I can find them somewhere. I miss it. That should be next week's episode. We should just watch Wrestling Society X and have a funeral
Peach?
for it next week.
Peach, can you watch?
Peach, can we count on you to watch?
I'll do a
they
Wrestling
were only
Society.
half hour, weren't they?
I think so. I will do a Wrestling Society X episode if Peachy watches all the episodes.
Can we just come over Sunday morning and watch them together?
No.
Peach, if we give you somewhere to watch these episodes,
Probably
not a place, but
We can barely get him to watch the current product.
okay. Well, unless something else big happens, I don't even know. We've been talking.
You know what? Maybe
we did not
we...
get nearly as far into this AEW stuff as I would have liked to, which I find funny. But I don't care. It's probably better that we don't speculate on random people we don't know their contracts are up. But
I was gonna say maybe we tag in Jer or Roy.
Oh yeah, let's try to find somebody else that will watch it. We either do this next week or the week after. We'll give ourselves some time. If we can't do it next week.
Yeah, well, we're getting near the holidays. All right?
Yeah. We'll find a good time to do this. But yeah, right now I want to do this. I want to find these episodes.
I really like.
I want to watch it, and I want us to review it. Peach, if we give you longer than a week to watch these episodes, do you think any chance you'll at least watch some of it?
Maybe.
Okay.
That's a no.
That's better than a no.
Yeah, that's a no.
I know it's a no.
Yeah, it's a no. It's not even.
What you do, Walt, is anytime Peachy's supposed to come over your house, just put it on and then pause it when he stops.
Anymore.
Like when he leaves.
My roommate makes things difficult sometimes. So
have it on your phone anytime you're around Peachy. Just start putting it on.
Just put it on. Here you go, Peach.
Like a toddler.
I'm excited for this. And I don't know if Roy ever seen this, but I know Roy's been dying to come on.
I know.
I'll ask him if he has any interest in this. I know Fico. You and Fico watched it at Fico's house. I know he knows.
I know we did.
I'm sure Jer has, but yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm happy we did this episode because it got Wrestling Society X out of us.
I don't even know how we got here. I'm much happier than I was arguing with you guys. Oh man. Alrighty, so I'm gonna kind of wrap it up here because I'm ready for breakfast. But so Rest Pass, AEW. I'm gonna ask you two questions with this. Will it be a success year one?
And I can't say dependent on certain things.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it will be a success year one.
It
Will it
depends
be
on your definition of success, but yes.
Will it be a success years 2 through 5?
It will not be as big as year one. I don't see it advancing.
Do you see it is it going to last to year 5?
No.
No? All right. Peach, based on all the info we just told you and your first experience with AEW, is it going to be a success year one?
No, I think that this first year they're just going to be banging their head on the wall.
Year 2 through 5?
It doesn't make it to 2 through 5.
It doesn't even get past year 1.
It might be there still, but it's not a success.
Okay. I think it will be a success year 1, but I don't think it's going to make it to year... I say it's going to die out probably year 3.
Yeah.
Because again, and that's me just so... I'm not going to... Because I didn't give you guys the opportunity, so I'm not going to.
Well, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, because it's me also hoping that these guys sign with WWE.
The reason why I think it's not going to be a success is because I think these guys right now have too much freedom, especially guys like the Young Bucks. I wouldn't necessarily add Cody in that. I think the Young Bucks have a lot of freedom, and if they start seeing they can make money elsewhere, and it starts to become a little bit more difficult than maybe they think it's going to be, and it starts turning downhill, I can see those guys leaving. And then the whole point of this was based around that. How do you have all elite wrestling without all of elite in
without
it?
the elite, yeah.
So that's where I see it kind of. And then they'll rebrand, and it'll be run by a fan, and it'll basically
have you
be
heard
TNA.
The narrative they're pushing is they're all in this together? They go as a group places.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be bad for them. I think personally, Adam Page is going to get hurt the most by that.
Right.
Because Cody has his name, the Young Bucks have their name, Omega has his name and his wrestling.
Now, what if they push Adam Page as the champion of this?
I still think he's too generic in that group.
Right.
And I don't mean that as a knock because I really like him. To stand out. He stands out because he's generic.
Right.
Because, again, Marty Scurll. Marty Scurll has his character, the villain. Adam Page his thing is he's got a big dick. It's a hangman. And he walks around with, that was his whole fight with Joey Ryan. And his thing is he walks around with a noose around his neck. From a non-wrestling, there's nothing.
That writes itself, Walt.
There's nothing there. And, from a kind of generic wrestling, from a casual fan standpoint, there's nothing that, who's that guy that wears the weird, cape, he has the umbrella, you have stuff to associate with him. People will be like, who's the guy that looks kind of like Triple H?
But do you think it's going to matter? If he went somewhere else, do you think that would really matter?
I think it's going to, I think if he went somewhere else, it would be better for him. Again, I don't know. I don't know.
To be honest with you, maybe he just doesn't have enough to really work an interesting gimmick anyway. That's the thing. There are good wrestlers that just aren't good on the mic, good enough on the mic.
He is that. I think that's the biggest thing with what being the elite has done.
Right.
Is it helped evolve him. It helped evolve him in kind of more of that character stuff and things like that. But just on a basic example, he can look very bland.
Well, and maybe you'll see that develop in AEW.
Yeah, I hope so.
If anything, it could be better for him. It'll give him time if they're going to get preferential treatment to each other.
He could be a huge star. I really like him, especially because he is so generic looking. He's got that. He's very similar to Drew McIntyre.
Right. Weird question, and I don't know if you know the answer. Has Matt and Nick Jackson ever wrestled each other? Like one-on-one?
Not that I know of.
I mean, on anything that you would have been able to see that wasn't like some random house show when they were 16?
Not within the last, I would say, 3 years.
I'd be interested in seeing that.
I know they've barely broken up. They barely even done any single matches. I believe one of them did a Best of the Super Juniors tournament before.
Okay. I'd be interested in seeing them wrestle each other in AEW. You know what? That'll be my question here, real quick, before we sign off. Okay. Is there anything that you'd like to see out of AEW? And I'll answer first. I'd love to see the Young Bucks wrestle each other. I think it would be cool to see, like a mini feud. I don't want it to be long term. Nobody's going to believe that they're going to stay apart long term. I don't want to see a Hardys type split, but I'd love to see them feud.
A tournament. Maybe a
tournament where they're not necessarily they're not feuding. It's like a championship tournament where they happen to get matched up with each other. I think it'd be interesting. That's one thing I would like to see out of it.
I would enjoy it. But I think my whole thing with that would be is don't do it in AEW. Do it in the brands that build you up. Do it in Ring of Honor or
no. I want to see it in AEW. Okay. I want it to be built as something you haven't seen before. That's what's going to help them. They need stuff like that, something you have not seen before. Matt and Nick Jackson wrestling each other.
I don't know then what I would.
Outside of it failing, what would you like to see out of it, Walt?
I don't know.
Right, just like something fresh, something that you haven't.
Chris
seen
Jericho,
before.
Something fresh.
I've seen it.
You've seen every Jericho. Simpsons.
I was obviously joking.
Jericho
you didn't
did
need to respond to that. Chris Jericho as your champion. I got one thing you probably never seen before that you would love to see. Omega Okada.
I hate you. Oh my god. I was thinking like I don't know. Because here's the one thing like that at least TNA had for it. Because is that kind of the best comparison we're trying to make here? Is that AEW is trying to be the next TNA but doing it better?
What TNA was building to before it fell off a cliff. Yes.
TNA at least had like Peachy said, something fresh. The 6-sided ring. It was terrible, but it was different, and it made it a little more intriguing to be like, okay, let me watch this.
Yeah. But it also changed what it was, and that's when it fell off the cliff.
It did. Exactly. I agree with that. But like I don't know what AEW could do that is that different.
I'm hoping they use YouTube to their advantage. I would love to see, instead of adding shows, instead of adding this, that, and the other thing, that YouTube becomes its
the rest. You have your storyline development on YouTube,
yeah,
and you have just your hour wrestling matches on the AEW Tuesday Night Dynamite show.
Yeah. It's what WWE is trying to do now. The problem is they have way too much. They're trying to use Twitter.
Yes.
To further
and
their
Twitter
storylines.
Works. Did you see the Becky Lynch Charlotte? Oh my god, it was great.
Now the last one I seen was Ruby Riott against Natalya. They were kind of going back and forth.
Becky Lynch posted. I want to get the exact wording because it was savage. It was great. Come on. So this is the quote that Becky Lynch posted. Charlotte calling me out on TV and online for missing time. Again, the man will just provide the truth in the face of lies. Below it is a picture, and it says, in 2018, it's the picture of Becky Lynch on the Raw where she has a busted nose,
right.
And it's just bleeding all over the place. Becky, the quote underneath that picture is, I missed one SmackDown for this, for the broken nose and the concussion.
Right.
The next picture is of Charlotte, and it's focused in on her breast. And it goes, she missed 1 month of SmackDown for something I can't remember. And then Charlotte wrote back, and let me try to find Charlotte's response. Oh God, let me see. Where the hell is it? Oh man, the Twitter thing is getting like they get the stuff so right on Twitter sometimes with this, and the best part is, let me find it. The best part is like Charlotte and Becky are probably just sitting next to each other laughing as they're writing these things,
and that's what I want AEW to become. I want, because WWE. Sometimes it falls short. The stuff on Twitter is more interesting than what you see on TV. I want to see them kind of combine YouTube, Twitter, and their shows together. I want it. I want it to be more representative of what's being said on TV, of what's being said on Twitter, and not hoping to see something interesting on Twitter because I know they probably won't reference that on TV.
Yeah.
AEW to bring back the 24/7 rule. All their championships, 24/7.
I hate that Peachy comes up with a fun idea.
Facebook Live,
their
wrestling matches.
Their first championship should be World War III. Or no, what was that cage? The 3 cages. In WCW, what the hell was that called? Where it had like a medium-sized cage on top.
Isn't that where David Arquette won the title?
I think
lost the title?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it though. Was it three stages of hell or 3 something?
Nah, 3 triple cage of terror?
That might be it. Where it had like the medium-sized cage on top of it.
Triple cage match, I think is what it's called.
They had to climb up to the next cage and there was like weapons in it or something like that. Or
What a match. David Arquette versus DDP versus Jeff Jarrett. Exactly.
I would love to see AEW just come out with like
these ridiculous
their own version of like Elimination Chamber, like exactly the same thing as Elimination Chamber, just basically just completely rip off their match.
Oh man! All right, let's call it there because we said we were going to call this episode 20 minutes ago. Oh Jesus Christ! I still have Intergender Wrestling in my Google search and BBW Wrestling 6'1" Amazon female destroys little man. Oh my god!
That's what happens when you type all this stuff in, Walt.
I should have used incognito mode. So with that being said, you now have to look forward to Wrestling Society X review.
Oh, that's coming soon.
Episode.
Hopefully sooner.
I hope later. Worst case scenario, we should do that as episode 50. Like if we can't
find time to do it between now and then,
let's focus on episode 50.
Hopefully by episode 50, Peachy's got paintballs and.
Now that's stretching. That's what I want to see in AEW. The paintball bet fulfilled.
I want to see that happen before the next WrestleMania comes around.
Well,
we have to put a time limit on the next bet you make, Peach.
Yeah, PG says nothing. That's expected.
for those of you that have not listened to us from the beginning,
go listen to the. Was it the Ronda Rousey episode?
I think so, but you can go listen to it, or I'll just tell you right now. Basically, Peachy bet that Ronda Rousey would lose her first match at WrestleMania in a tag team match with her and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie, and they had a paintball bet where was it 5 times or 10 times?
10.
You could shoot. Whoever loses gets shot by a paintball gun 10 times. And Peachy also agreed to wear a Ronda Rousey shirt, which I don't know if that's still happening. But
he did buy the Ronda Rousey shirt for WrestleMania, which I did appreciate.
I have the paint. I have everything but the air.
Yeah. See, so it has now been a good 35 episodes since then, probably even longer. Ronda Rousey, I think, was one of our first couple episodes. So
Ronda Rousey, I think, was our second. I forget.
But either way, hopefully that happens sometime soon.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Do you guys have anything else you want to add?
I still can't think of that guy's name. So for any of you out there that are listening to this that are not friends with us, because other than Jer, I don't know that anybody's going to know who this person is either, and they're just going to Google intergender matches, and it's going to be bad for their Google search.
Let them do it.
Go on incognito mode if you're doing it. But if you could think of his name anywhere, I don't care. I post this all over the place. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, comment on the website, whatever. But please let us know, because this is going to kill me. And I'm gonna be sitting here looking. I keep thinking like Wilfred or something like that. I don't know what. It's like a one name. I can't think of what the hell his name is. It's just this big guy. Damn, dude, that's annoying me so much. But yeah, other than that, this was fun. I expected to not have enough for this, and we actually did not get across a lot that I would like. But I'm sure we'll be talking about this in January when they announce it. You know, I'm sure we'll go right back over all this stuff.
Side note: we can get the complete first season of Wrestling Society X for $18.97.
1897.
Yeah.
If it was 1895, I would do it.
Well, guess what?
Do you get all 10 episodes?
Yeah, I was going to say Walton already bought it.
Not yet. I'm confirming we're getting all 10 episodes.
As long as we get the exploding cage match with Newfound Glory, I will chip in 10 cents.
Alrighty, good. It also arrives before Christmas. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. We hope you enjoyed the banter.
Peach, do you have any last things? Since Walton only asked me.
I figured Peachy didn't. So, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good weekend, and we will catch you next week. Later, guys.
When does XFL start again?